Hello everyone, my name is Alyan and today I am here again with another special guest, Mr. Harry. So, hello sir, how are you?
Very well, thank you, and yourself.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, I want to be very thankful to you for giving me your precious time.
Oh, it's great to be here, and thank you very much indeed. Good to be here.
Thank you so much. So, before moving on the question, can you please introduce yourself?
Yep. Okay. Very happy with that. Yeah. Please fire away. Uh,
Okay.
uh, yeah. Anything you want to ask, I'll do my best to give you direct answers.
Okay. So, my first question in your screen, can you tell us about your background and journey that lead you to become a success coach and speaker?
Yes, very happily. The route to becoming a success principal trainer and coach uh, came about through my own personal challenges, really. And in 2017, I had actually ended up defending my late father in a pub. Um, I'd always wanted to be a police officer, actually. So my journey to becoming a success principal trainer and coach wasn't instantaneous. But what happened in 2017 is I defended my father in a pub. It led me to being arrested. My dream career of joining the police was over in a heartbeat. A year later, 2018, the case went to court. I had everything thrown at me. I was given a 2 year suspended prison sentence. I was unable to travel. I had a curfew, which meant electronic tagging on my foot. I was unable to go out and about and see people because of this curfew. I had a lot of money to pay to the court and in compensation to the people involved. And it was a very unpleasant time. And what happened after that is I ended up meeting my fiance, and we were together from 2018 to 2020. And in 2020, we had been due to get married, but that's when COVID-19 had just come into the UK. And literally the week that we were due to get married. And looking back on life now, that was actually a blessing. But at that time, uh, obviously very challenging. And my relationship, which I had with my fiance, had turned toxic quite quickly throughout the pandemic and came to an end. When it did come to an end, I was left in great turmoil because I had sort of lost the career that I wanted to go after, which was the police. I had lost my relationship with the woman that I had loved and was due to marry. And so I actually went to go and see a life coach at that time. Shortly after that, I parted ways with my fiance, and the life coach helped me become more and more empowered. And I thought, well, if someone can do this for me, I want to do this for other people. So I think my message for your listeners here would be out of pain can come a great journey of success. And in fact, it was Napoleon Hill who wrote in Think and Grow Rich that behind every adversity lies a seed of equal and greater advantage. And so I would also encourage people actually to check out a guy named I think Jocko Wilkinson is the name, but type in Jocko and good into YouTube. And his philosophy is that in every given circumstance, whether for you and I it would come across as being very difficult, very challenging, and even, dare I say it, bad, what we're actually trying to train our brain to do is to look for the good, because ultimately, where you put your focus, you end up magnifying the whole thing. And so, if you start looking for good and learn to say good in every circumstance, your brain will learn to find it. It will learn to pick up the bits that you can actually sort of filter out for good and grow from, really. And that's really been, I think, the key to my success at this moment in time. And the thing to stress here is that success is progressive. It's something that you have to build on every day and be intentional about it.
Alright. So, what motivated you to start vibrantleader.com and offer coach services?
Um, Again, I think a lot of it comes back to the journey that I've just described through my pain point, if you like, really, because um, building up vibrant leaders had been the unintended consequence of the things I'd gone through in life, that the pain that I had gone through, and I thought I want to do something for other people where I can equip, serve, and empower them with powerful success principles to radically change their lives. Because as Carl Jung had said, it's about learning to awaken yourself within. You've got to start asking questions of your life. And certainly when I went to see the life coach, he helped to direct the camera on my life, that psychological camera, to actually look at my life at all angles and help me see my own potential from within and find that strength. And I think again that when I learned to see that strength and power from within, I wanted to do something to try and bring that out in others. So hence that's why Vibrant Leaders was born.
All right. So, how do you define success and how do you help your client achieve it?
Well, I think here what I would go back to is something that Earl Nightingale had said, where success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And it is very much about the gradual steps. And again, Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. And for many of us, we can become very overwhelmed in life when we look at success. We think that it has to be something big and outrageous. And it's fine to have big goals, but we have to sort of see where we are now and take those gradual steps towards things and just literally gradual steps each and every day. Success is something that compounds over time. So you have to look at where you are now and where you're looking to get to, and just keep taking those gradual, progressive steps each and every day. Being consistent is the key.
Okay, great. So, could you share a memorable success story from one of your clients that highlight the impact of your coaching?
Yeah, I mean, I think here, the thing to say at this moment in time, just to be very transparent of where I am in my business journey, we are very new to this, but I so it's very difficult at this moment in time to really give you a great story. But one of the things I would say here is that I am constantly looking out for people that I can help in every given circumstance. And even your listeners here, they have the capacity, whether they want to be full time coaches or not, or just be a supportive friend. Each and every day, we have the capability to coach just by listening to people and encouraging them. I mean, effective communication is probably more 80% us listening to people and 20% of us asking the questions. And just learning to kind of interact with people properly, asking proper questions, and really being a proper true friend, understanding the issues, and just looking for the little opportunities each and every day where you can ask those questions, help people gain that understanding, but don't just sort of charge in with lots and lots of questions. Make sure that when you ask those questions, you are listening to actually actively hear. You're actively listening to try and provide a solution if it's asked for, and if people want your opinion, but learn to digest the information that you're being given rather than just firing lots of questions at people.
Great, awesome. So, what are the key principles or strategies you embrace in your coaching to help individuals reach their full potential?
Okay, a great question. So I think the key thing that I would stress here is learning to take 100% responsibility for your outcomes in life. And as I well, as I alluded to earlier in the call, I am a success principles trainer, and actually, for me, I went through the trainer Jack Canfield on that. And one of the fundamental principles I learned through him is a very simple formula of E plus R equals O. Now, what that stands for in simple terms is E equals your event, R equals your response, and O equals your outcome. Now, we can't always control an event that happens in life. Certainly, I couldn't control the event of COVID coming into the country. Um, what I could do at the time when things sort of were getting shaky with my fiance is change my responses, because I had my part to play in that. I had been quite angry at times, failed to really properly see her side of the story, and I think a lot, certainly at that given point in my life, it was very easy to assign a lot of blame on her rather than look directly at myself as well. And you know, my own responses at that time led to an unfortunate outcome. In hindsight, it has ended up being a good thing that I came out of that relationship, but I equally could have done better things to have ended it on better terms, or perhaps if I did do things in a different way, I would actually have a better relationship with my past fiance. I don't know, but that is in the past. But all the time, we can be changing our response to get better outcomes for us in the future. So I'm someone who constantly looks at the responses I give to events, and they've not always been the best. But this is where I go back to the fact that success is a progressive journey, and you've just got to keep looking at the situation and thinking, okay, so with this event, I responded in this particular way. What can I now learn from that response which will help me in the next similar event in the future, or something else which may end up having similar kind of connections? Because all the time, the more we learn to sort of manage and change our responses, we can start getting better outcomes in our life. And when we get better outcomes in our life, we start feeling that we are living a life of more success, more abundance, and things are actually sort of happening for us rather than to us, because we are in more control. Because really, it's our responsibility to kind of choose our responses. It's response ability. It's an ability, grace to us, so we can actually we can start living life on our terms.
Wonderful. So, in your experience, what are the common challenges that people face when pursuing their goals, and how do you address them?
Again, a very good question, and I think the thing I would say here is that a lot of people, when they set goals, they actually fail to make them properly tangible. And what I mean by that is they actually set really wishes rather than goals. And it's very much like, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds of weight. I want to become a millionaire. I want to have a nice sports car. Okay, great. Nothing wrong with those things per se, but what kind of a sports car do you want to drive? Do you want to drive an Aston Martin? Do you want to drive a Mercedes? What kind of color do you want that Mercedes or Aston Martin to be? How many millions do you want to earn? Do you want to earn 20 million, 30 million, 40 million? When do you want to have that money by? Because what you've got to do here is start building up a structural tension in your brain where it looks at your reality now and where you want to go to. And one of the things that I learned from a great mentor called Brian Tracy, and I encourage your listeners to look into this chap. He wrote a brilliant book called Goals. And in that book, he describes about the fact that you've got to be very realistic about your reality now and where you want to go to, because again, there is nothing wrong with having big goals, and a lot of people encourage you to have big goals, and I encourage people to set big goals. But before you get to the really big goals, you need to sort of take those stepping stones again, where you are looking at where you are now and where you could be, say, in 12 months time. And if at the moment, let's say, you are struggling to kind of make ends meet, it's going to be very unrealistic to say that in 12 months you're suddenly going to be earning 20 million a year. So you might look at that kind of a situation and say, right, if I'm not earning a lot now, in 12 months time I'm going to have my first job. I'm going to, I will have a basic salary of, say, 21,000 a year, what have you. But you've got to get very clear on where you are now and where you want to get to, and take the time to actually recognize the stepping stones that you will have to take to get to the ultimate outcome. And this is something that I do all the time. And one of the things I would encourage your listeners to have a look at is something called the Wheel of Life. Now, this is something that addresses all the component parts of life. So your career, your finances, your health, lots of different component parts. And the beauty with that wheel, the wheel of life, is that you actually plot out where you really are now. And then I would encourage people to actually set their goals around those areas. And again, be very honest about where you are now and where you're looking to get to. Because the thing here is that if you set too big a goals to begin with, you'll quickly burn out, because your brain will be turning around and saying, "Hello, stupid. Have you actually seen your reality? Have you actually seen what's going on in your life?" Whereas if you set something which is more realistic, which you believe in, and think, "Okay, yes, in 12 months' time, I could end up having a new job. I could end up seeing more people. I could end up making more connections." And I would encourage people to ask themselves daily these sort of questions, like, what can I be doing now in this moment? And in fact, again, one of my mentors, another mentor I like to follow, is Tony Robbins, which many of your followers may have heard of. He's got great international reputation. He says that the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of questions you're prepared to ask yourself. Now, I'm constantly asking myself questions in order to grow and build and improve every day. The whole idea in life is to try and get like 1% better each and every day. And over the course of a year, that considerably compounds, gaining you massive results in life. So the questions you ask yourself are key. And that's my biggest takeaway here for your listeners.
Great, wonderful. So, sorry. So, can you explain the importance of mindset in achieving success, and how do you help client cultivate a success and intent mindset?
Good question. So, mindset is absolutely everything, and all the mentors that I've already mentioned, and everyone else out there will say mindset is key. And another mentor that I like, or yes, person I've studied, is someone called Zig Ziglar. Now, Zig Ziglar said it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that will affect your altitude in life. And if you're looking to aim high and go high, your attitude is key to everything. You will not achieve success if your attitude is not right. And this is going to sound perhaps a little bit corny to some, but the real thing that you can be doing to be cultivating the right attitude each and every day is to be practicing an attitude of gratitude. And what I mean by that is looking for the simple things in life that you can be grateful for. And if you've got a bed to sleep in every night, that's something to be grateful for. If you've got air in your lungs and you're breathing, that's something to be grateful for. If you've got parents that love you, that's something to be grateful for. If you've got friends that you can see, that's something to be grateful for. If it's a sunny day, that's something to be grateful for. You get the idea. And you just got to keep stacking up these things that you've actually got to be grateful for. And just make a list of them each and every day. The more unique ones you have, the better. The more you practice gratitude, it'll become a mental muscle that sort of builds into you, giving you a strength and an energy. And what a lot of studies have found here is that the more you practice gratitude, the more you actually make way for abundance to come into your life, because you're recognizing the good things that you've already got, and therefore you start attracting better things because you're making way for the rivers to start to flow. And I would liken it to the fact that when you're not grateful for things, you are effectively blocking the river. You're actually creating a dam. You're not flowing at all. You're blocking everything out there. So you're kind of containing a lot of things, but you're not allowing the river to flow around, where you are pouring out to others through the gratitude, through the love, through the appreciation of everything you already have. And you're not allowing other things to continue to flow in, because you're just, for all intents and purposes, you're stuck. So one of the things that I really do encourage anyone who wants to work with me is practicing gratitude each and every day. That's where it all starts. Mindset is key. you will not achieve success, as I go back to, without cultivating a good, strong mindset.
Great, wonderful answer. So, um, how do you tailor your coaching method to the unique needs and goal of each client?
Yeah. So one of the things here that I like to do is take on a very holistic approach here. And this again is where I go back to the wheel of life and looking at everyone's key component areas of their life and wanting a general overview of everything that's going on. Because, you know, you might have problems with getting a job, you might have problems with your family, you might have problems with your health. And what I want to do is look at everything going on across the broad spectrum of people's lives and see what their score is in each and every area on a scale of 1 to 10. And when I have that score, I can then look at the component areas and say, okay, well, this particular area is quite weak. Here are the goals that we can set in this particular area. And then I'll provide that accountability for people to help them grow, to help them develop, and be there at their right hand side to understand how I can help and support them on their journey across like a 12-month period, what have you. I am there for the longevity, for as long as they need me to constantly help people build and grow and develop, because success, as I keep going back to, is progressive. So I am there very much to be by people's side, and my approach is to take on a very holistic approach, as I've mentioned, and look at life in its full entirety. So I have the full clear picture, because one thing can always affect another. If I get very personal about it here, for me as an example, um, I am someone who, when it comes to jobs I've held down, I have much more satisfaction in my career if I have a healthy relationship. If the relationships, my friends, my family, my intimate relationships are good, because when I have those in place, I'm feeling happier as a person. I've got self confidence. I feel loved by those around me, and therefore, in my job, in my career, I'm able to put in more passion, more energy, and deliver better results. So that's why it's very important for me to take on the full, broader picture.
Amazing, wonderful. So, my last question in your screen: what would be your top piece of advice for individual who aspire to lead a brand success life?
Very simply, take 100% responsibility for your outcomes, because if you can really do that and learn not to blame, complain, criticize, but instead learn to practice gratitude each and every day, you will start raising your vibration. You'll start attracting better things into your life. And your life can start looking amazing the more you practice gratitude and the more you learn to take responsibility for your life. Again, in the last 12 months or so, I've been on a journey myself where I've had jobs, I've lost jobs, and I have I have found it very challenging, very difficult. But through accepting the fact that I have 100% responsibility for my outcomes, I've been able to look at things and think, okay, what do I really want here? And I can stay sorry for myself and complain about my situation. Okay, I've lost my job. I can't afford my bills. I can't do this, can't do that. Or I can say, well, actually, what can I do? I can go and get a job. There are jobs out there. I can put applications in daily. I can get myself out to interviews, have that interview practice. Um, yeah, and I can look for jobs which actually are going to get me more money than I previously had. Again, it's about looking for opportunities and things here. And um, I I actually ended up, through having taken 100% responsibility for my own life, when I lost a job back in April this year. I took 100% responsibility for stepping out there and actually looking for something better that paid me more. And ironically, I'm now getting paid more for working part time in a particular job than I did previously for working full time. And people hear me go, wow. And yes, it is wow. But the reality is that I took 100% responsibility for my outcomes. I looked for the opportunities that were out there. And when I found something which is in alignment with the sort of balance of life that I wanted to have and the money that I wanted to be earning, I seized the opportunity. And so, my message here for your listeners is look for the opportunities that are in line with the things you want to achieve in life. And it's very clear for everyone to get very clear on what their purpose is. That is the second element here that I would throw in here. Responsibility first and foremost. Everything begins with that. Learning to cultivate that attitude of gratitude, which will raise your vibration and attract the things that you have in your life. And then also, thirdly, just having that clear sense of purpose, because without purpose, your life will not have direction. And I'm very happy to provide any one of your listeners with some coaching around this if they would like that support. And if I can throw in perhaps my website link here so people can check me out, vibrant-leaders.com. Go to that. Myself and my team are on hand to help you, to guide you and support you, hold your hand, and sort of answer any questions you may have. Because I go back to my own mission statement here, which is to equip, serve, and empower other people to live a life of success and full abundance. And that's what I'm very much here for.
Amazing, wonderful. So I am again very thankful to you, Mr. Harry, for giving me your precious time. I hope everyone motivate with your talk, with your speech. Thank you so much for your valuable time.
It's been a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much indeed for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.